Hello, it's your girl. When streaming, drawing. Haven't quite decided yet, like what my schedule will be. Probably gonna just stream at least once a week on weeknights from 7 to 8 p.m. has been a good hour for me. Yep. So last stream we left off, I was working on this character, this OC of mine. She is a little demon who makes a nuisance of herself by playing a cowbell. And I just noticed something that I want to fix here. In the last video, I was drawing and I was like, oh my goodness, homegirl has a 5 head. So I moved her bangs down. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my goodness, homegirl has no forehead now. That's no good. Why is this fighting me? There we go. There we go. That's all she needs. So today, what I'm gonna do is clean up the line art on this drawing and then start coloring it in. Yep. Let's see here, do I have, I'm trying to think if anything interesting has happened to me. Not really. It's been kind of dull. I'm going to adjust my tablet. There we go. So I discovered, since my last stream, I mounted my microphone on my computer tower to kind of make the clicking less loud. And it turns out that was actually terrible for the audio quality because it just made like a loud mechanical humming noise the entire time. And that was just great. So I won't be mounting my microphone on there anymore. I'll just have to put it back on my tablet here because that provides the better audio quality. Yeah, my setup is just kind of real casual. I just happened to be lucky to have this microphone at all. So I was like, oh yay, I have this, the bare minimum to stream. I'll just start streaming. And that's what I'm doing. Okay. Well, it'd be really fun. So I don't have a camera. This computer that I have doesn't have any kind of webcam or anything. But it'd be really fun to diversify the stream a little bit. You know, maybe there'll be some nights where I draw. Maybe there'll be some nights where I play GeoGuessr. And then if I had a camera, I could do some baking streams because I love baking. That's one of my other hobbies. And I just think that would be so fun. My favorite things to bake are, I like desserts. I like chocolate. I like cookies, cake, cupcakes, muffins, all that good stuff. I bake a lot of cheesecake and what else? I got some tart pans for Christmas of varying shapes and sizes, and I've been experimenting with baking tarts. I also got this recipe book from my mom. She found this recipe book for me called Luscious Lemon Desserts. And I was very inspired. I've been baking out of a lot of the recipes in there because my husband's favorite flavor dessert is lemon. So he is my inspiration for trying a lot of baking things. There's a recipe in there for like homemade lemon curd. And I've made it a couple times for him now already. And he loves it. It's like crack to him. And it's really great to see him enjoy it and feel spoiled because I want to spoil him. My personal favorite desserts, though, I really love chocolate and caramel and red velvet and all that good stuff. Not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before that, my husband and I got an ice cream maker from his parents as a gift. And oh man, that thing is like one of the coolest gifts that I think I've ever received, because we have had so much fun with that. The instruction booklet for the machine came with some recipes too, and we have had such a blast making homemade ice cream for ourselves. Like, man, I've never felt like powerful before necessarily, but like making your own ice cream, bruh. That is like an excellent thing to do. And what's great is this ice cream is very versatile. It makes ice cream, but it also makes you can make gelato, frozen yogurt, some other stuff, sorbet. You can make like 4 different things with this thing. We mostly make ice cream, and sometimes we make gelato. Matthew's favorite flavor to make, of course, is the lemon gelato. But one of my favorite things to make, like the lemon gelato, is pretty good. I'm not gonna knock that at all. It was pretty delicious. But I have this flavor essence stuff that my mom got me. It's called Fiori di Sicilia. It's this like Italian orange, vanilla flavored extract of stuff. It's flavoring that you can use in like cooking and baking and stuff. And man, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Fiori di Sicilia flavored gelato. Okay? That stuff is the most freaking awesome stuff to have on a hot summer day. You just came in from the hot ass weather from my state, because 6 months out of the year it's like the devil's butt crack in my state. It's always very hot. And man, this gelato, Fiori di Sicilia gelato, mamma mia. Mwah! Chef's kiss. You can't see it, but mwah! Mwah! That is a favorite thing to make. And then we both have the same favorite flavor ice cream, which is mint chocolate chip. And we'll make mint chocolate chip with like Oreo bits in it. We've done some experimenting. We've gone like off recipe where we'll make like banana fudge ice cream, or we'll make just like crazy stuff like I think we made like a peanut butter banana fudge ice cream last year, and that came out pretty darn good. I'm not like the biggest person of like enjoying fruit chunks or like banana ice cream necessarily, but that came out pretty darn good. I just got done extolling the virtues of Fiori di Sicilia flavored stuff, and then I'm like, I don't like fruit ice cream. But it's like, I don't like it with the chunks in it. Like, it's the difference between when it's like smooth, silky smooth, like you wouldn't even believe gelato is so silky smooth. And then like chunks. Because that's what I want in my nice creamy ice cream, is chunks. Soft little fruit chunks. It's a texture thing. It's not bad texture, but it's like, there's better texture out there. There's superior ice cream texture. very... Since I've made my own homemade ice cream, I'm allowed to have strong opinions about ice cream. That's just how it goes. Let's see, got a spot right here. Oh. Oh, I found this new web podcast that I've been listening to almost nonstop since I found it about a week ago. My husband, so I found it because my husband recommended me this other podcast that I also started listening to. These are like the first podcasts I ever listened to in my life. I don't actually like listen to podcasts all that much because there's not a lot of really weird niche podcasts out there that it's like, how could this possibly be so interesting that you could make multiple serial episodes about this topic, let alone like even one. It's like, like this is the obscure podcast about what it was like to be a children's birthday clown in the 1960s. It's like, wow, okay. Not for me. But that's not a real example, but like that's not far from the strangeness of some of these examples. But anyway, so the podcast that my husband recommended to me was a Rooster Teeth podcast called 30 Morbid Minutes. And it's a fairly new podcast where these two women talk about just like morbid subjects, usually relating to like weird, quirky death facts. Like there's a really fascinating episode they did about like how they deal with dead bodies on Mount Everest, and how they deal with another one that was super fascinating was how they deal with dead bodies on cruise ships. Like I just learned some weird facts that day. And then, so that's a good podcast. I quickly listened to all the episodes that they had available, and now I just play the waiting game of like, okay, every week they put out a new one. And then finding that podcast led me to another Rooster Teeth podcast called Red Web, which I am obsessed with. That is itching. It is scratching that itch that I always have to hear about unsolved mysteries and paranormal phenomena and supernatural, weird X-Files level shit. It's good. It's good stuff. Each episode is like roughly an hour, and I'll like listen to it while I'm working. I'll listen to it while I'm like on a walk or a run. It's fantastic. That they have covered, they've, like, a lot of the things that they've covered, like, I've already heard about, but, like, I don't even care. I just like hearing about it. And then sometimes they have, like, new facts. Like, they did an episode about the Zodiac Killer, and, like, I've heard about that case, like, here and there. It's, like, an unsolved serial murder mystery. And they had, like, all these new facts that I had never heard. And that was super fascinating. That was a really cool episode. Whenever they cover, like, a true unsolved crime, they go over, like, potential suspects. And that's always really fascinating to me. They go really in depth of, like, why this person was looked at as a suspect by the police and stuff. Some really suspicious people out there. You know, I don't know about this here. I don't know about this here hand. But yeah, that is Red Web. I am obsessed. I listen to it all the time. They have way more episodes, but, like, I'm going to be very sad when I finally catch up. Because I love just binging. Oh, man. Speaking of binging, going back to baking, I love the YouTube channel Binging with Babish. But then again, like, who doesn't? That's a great channel, right? I gotta tell, like, personally, I have experienced a great moment from that channel because a couple of times now I have tried and failed to bake macaroons, like those little French style cookies with like a cute little filling in the center. I had tried like twice before, and I failed both times because my batter was too wet, or I wasn't baking them right. I wasn't making them the right size. Like some intangible thing was like always wrong. And I listened finally to Babish's macaroon recipe, and third time's the charm. At long last, following his recipe, I finally made some decent freaking macaroons, and I can't wait to make them again. That was like a personal, because they're hard. Like, macaroons are kind of one of the more difficult things out there to bake because the measurements of ingredients are so finicky. That was probably like the biggest thing that was holding me back before, because Babish's method, he says, okay, 1, you need a food processor and a food scale to get everything completely fine, all the ingredients completely fine and completely accurately measured. And you want to measure them by weight and not by volume. That was something that I wasn't doing my first 2 attempts. It was just like, take 5 cups of this and 2 teaspoons of that. And I'm like, okay. And that method was not working out for me too good. But his method, he says to use a food scale and measure them by weight in the scale in grams. And I did that, and I had great success. They weren't perfect, but the first time I tried to bake macaroons, I didn't actually get to like bake them because, like a dum-dum, I was supposed to bake them on sheets of parchment paper, but my dumbass got wax paper instead. And fortunately I realized very quickly I had to pull them out of the oven, otherwise I would have set the dang oven on fire, putting wax paper in the oven, and so that batch was ruined. I didn't even get to bake those. Second time I attempted them, I got everything prepared. I had parchment paper this time, oven safe, and I baked them, but I don't think I had a clear idea of how big, I guess, to make the cookies, because also I was baking, like, not, now I know poor workman blames his tools, but like the first 2 times I attempted these macaroons, I was working in my old apartment and we had a really shitty oven. That thing was like begging for death. I hated that oven so bad. The temperature was all over the place. It didn't have a little window or anything where you could like peek at what was baking while it was baking. That oven was terrible. Anyway, so like I think the oven kind of affected like the results. And I didn't know how big or how small to pipe things, and then my stupid oven like took the cookies that I piped that were too small and burnt the dickens out of them. They weren't like sumptuous and soft and chewy like they're supposed to be, and light and crispy on the outside. They were oh gosh. It was like eating not poker chips, but it was like eating it was like eating chips. It was this like hard, bitter crunch that macaroons are definitely not supposed to have. Okay, that's looking good. I think I'm ready to color this bad boy. This bad girl. Yeah, that was my second attempt at macaroons. Man, those macaroons were frightful because after I took them out and after they were overburnt, I still tried to complete them. Like, the cookie part was burnt to shit, and I still tried to complete them, and I had this, like, apple jam stuff. It was, like, plain sugar cookies, if I recall correctly. They weren't, like, any kind of particular flavor. And I took this, we had this, like, this old jar of apple jam in our fridge, and I was like, oh, this is here. I'll fill the cookies with this. And so we had these, like, burnt vanilla, nasty little cookies with this kind of questionably old almond jam. It wasn't expired, but it was, like, it was old. It had been in there a while. And they tasted really bad. Oh, man, were they bad. And they were really small. They were, like, barely the size of a quarter each cookie. And I'm pretty sure that's too small for a macaroon, knowing what I know now after my third attempt, which was successful using the Babish recipe. Cookies that are, like, the size of a quarter or, like, the size of a Kennedy $50 are, like, way too small. Yeah, so that was the second time I tried to bake macaroons. Third time I tried to bake macaroons, I was successful because I used the Babish recipe and I followed his directions of getting a food scale and a food processor. Now, I did cheat a little because he said at one point, like, you want to process your dry ingredients, like your almond flour and your powdered sugar and your whatnot, like 4 times in the processor to get them extra fine. I cheated. I think I only did it like 2 or 3 times because them shits was taking too long. And then the sifting, I think he said like to sift it multiple times too, but it's like, I think I just sifted it once and that was enough. But yeah, so those came out really nice. I colored them pale yellow and vanilla flavor, and then No. I had lemon extract. I put lemon extract in them, and then I made like a vanilla buttercream to put inside the cookies. And they came out pretty darn good. The cookie part was as light as it was supposed to be. It was like light and chewy on the inside and lightly crispy on the outside. And the only thing I think I would need to really improve on with that recipe is like the buttercream I made was very runny. I normally make pretty good, like normally I use the same go-to recipe for buttercream, and it's a pretty reliable recipe. Maybe I don't remember why it didn't come out so good that day. Maybe I was using a different recipe. Maybe I added too much milk or something that day. I don't know what I did. But that day the buttercream was like kind of runny, and I put some in the cookies, and they were still good, but it was like I had to be really careful about like how much I put, because once I assembled the cookies, they started like the filling started to ooze out. Macaroons is hard, okay? Macaronage, if you prefer, is hard. But it's very rewarding because when I finished them, my husband really liked them. And I thought they were pretty good too. I most certainly have room to improve. But yeah, I have got to make those again. They were challenging but rewarding because they look so pretty when they come out. And they're so rich. Like I wouldn't eat more than like 2 of them suckers at a time, because they're just so sweet and rich. But they're very, very good. There's another recipe that I make that my husband really loves. that is not a lemon recipe. It's a pumpkin cheesecake roll. Or not pumpkin cheesecake, pumpkin cream cheese roll. And I must confess, I'm going to be honest, it is not some original recipe. It is not some secret family recipe. I got it off the internet from King Arthur Baking, which is a company that my mom loves their products and their recipes. And she's a big baker. I learned a lot about baking from her. And I got like my passion for baking from my mom. I love to bake with my mom. It's a fun tradition every holiday to do that with her. And I found this recipe for pumpkin cream cheese log on King Arthur website. And that has been a pretty good recipe to follow. I am having a brain fart because I haven't drawn this character in so long. I sort of don't remember what her colors are. I know she has purple eyes. I think her colors are fairly simple because she's a cow, so she's like half of her is black and white stripes. Let's see here. But yeah, anyway, so this pumpkin cream cheese log. Man, let me tell you what. Okay, so like the recipe, when I make it, I follow the recipe pretty well to the letter. With the exception of, I need to correct a little line here. I do alter it in a small way where there's one particular ingredient. It calls for a teaspoon of pumpkin spice, which it lists as a mixture of like these 3 spices. It's like allspice, ginger, and cloves or something. And instead of doing a combined 1 teaspoon of a mixture of those 3 things, I just do a full teaspoon of each of those things. And I think, and I made them, I made a pumpkin cream cheese log for our big Thanksgiving family gathering this past year. And people freaking loved it. It was awesome to hear everybody like say they liked the pumpkin cream cheese roll. And I think it's because I put like basically extra of those spices in there. Because I'm normally not the biggest person into pumpkin spice. Like you looking for some white chick into PSLs from Starbucks. I'm not that chick. I like a couple of Starbucks drinks here and there, but I don't care that much for pumpkin spice flavors. It's always just very bland to me. It's just not good. But this pumpkin cream cheese log where you like bake a little dough and then fill it with sugary cream cheese, roll it into a log with the extra little punch of spices, it really is good. It made if more pumpkin spice flavored things were flavored like this roll, I might be a pumpkin spice girl. Oh no. Okay. Lock that. Yeah, so I make the pumpkin cream cheese log, and then I use the same dough recipe from that, and you can take that same recipe and pour it into muffin tins and make little pumpkin spice muffins that are really, really good. And what I like to do is I get them in a muffin tin, and then I make a buttercream, and then I inject didn't mean to move that layer. I inject the buttercream into the centers of the muffins and then cover them with like a chocolate ganache on top. And I call them, I was calling them Chalky Pumpkin Puffs. Gotta give it a cute little name. Chalky Pumpkin Puffs. I was calling them Chalky Bottom Pumpkin Puffs because for a while I was using this like Halloween mold that had it had like bats and skulls and cute Halloween shapes on top, and then like instead of putting the chocolate on the top that would cover the design, I just put it on the bottom. But really you can put these in like any muffin tin, and you don't have to put the chocolate on the bottom. They're just catch-all chalky pumpkin puffs. And they are indulgent. They are like crack. You put a plate of those in front of some people and they will be gone. I like that so far. I don't know where else I'm going with these colors. I'm in new territory for this character at this point, because like I've only drawn her a couple of times and I never had this detail on her boots before, so I'm going to be winging it as far as color goes. Most of the time I just draw her black and white. I just know she has purple eyes and blonde hair and a cow print dress. That's as far as I know for color. Let's see. Do skin tone. That looks alright. Ooh. I'm gonna make a separate layer just for this. It doesn't mess with... Yes. That makes things easier. Yeah, if I like get really into streaming, and if I ever had like a a webcam, I would probably do baking streams. That would be super fun. Yes, don't have to color around her face. Let's do this. Okay. I'll color that in correctly later. What else do I make? My husband really likes when I make cheesecake, but I haven't made a cheesecake in a while. I should make one. Cheesecakes are difficult. Like, I really want to get them to a point where they're like sinfully light and fluffy, like the way the Cheesecake Factory does them. But that's really hard. It involves a lot of egg whites. I've discovered that, like, once I figured out how to properly whip egg whites in an electric mixer, like once I got consistent with that, everything, like all the difficult desserts I wanted to do just kind of unlocked. Like macaroons, meringues. Oh no. And it's not that hard. You know, mousses. Oh my gosh. I love making... So I've made chocolate mousse a couple of times where, like, you just... Like, the key is just whipping egg whites or whipping heavy cream until you get stiff peaks and everything is, like, super airy and fluffy. Let's see. Maybe I want to... Yeah, I'd say if you're wanting to get into baking, good place to start is get, like Babish said, get a food processor and get a food scale so you can measure all your ingredients by volume, or excuse me, by weight, not volume, and get good at whipping egg whites. I'm coloring on the wrong layer again. Oh, jeez. Jeez, I'm craisums. Coloring on the wrong layer again. Lock this. Yeah. There we go. Skippy cute. Do this. Little pink and black boots. I think her tail would be brown like a cow. Yup. How now, brown cow? Bang, bang, bang! I like being a nuisance. Yeah. It was hot today. At one point, I went out to a sandwich shop on my lunch break to just pick up lunch and walk back. And the whole trip is like not even a full mile to walk, round trip. And I was like so sweaty and tired by the end of it. And I'm not, now that makes it sound like I'm really out of shape. And I'm not that out of shape. I want to the record straightened that I am not in that atrocious of a shape. I came back inside and looked at the temperature, and it was like 86 degrees Fahrenheit outside. For all you Celsius lovers out there, that's about 30 degrees Celsius. I was sweating. Big sweat. Oh no. There we go. Probably should have been correcting that beforehand, but it's whatever. This is kind of taking shape. Looking cute. She doesn't have a whole lot of color to her, as I remember. Mostly she's black and white because she's got cow spots and all that. Let's see if I can do some shadows here. Ooh, you know what? I need to do what I did in my last file. Make a separate layer just for shadows. That helps a lot. Yeah, right. I guess the light source is coming from above her, more or less. Yeah. What else? What else have I been up to? This past weekend, we went to see my husband's family. His mom, dad, sister, brother-in-law, and their 2 children all live together in one big gorgeous house. And they were doing some yard work and housework and stuff. And they have a 2-month-old. And I went there thinking I was going to be helping out, like mowing the lawn and cleaning the patio and all that stuff. But actually, I ended up holding the infant baby most of the day. And I was like, oh, geez, I didn't help out at all. I was feeling kind of guilty. But then they were like, hey, thank you so much for watching the baby. That, like, helped a ton. And I was like, oh, yay, I helped. That's good to hear. I was feeling kind of guilty that, like, I didn't do any of the yard work. But honestly, like, if it came down to yard work or holding a baby, I'm going to pick the baby. He was an easy baby. He was just chill, and he slept on my lap most of the day. He was a good chill baby. I don't like that color. Maybe I just need to be white. I'm gonna redo these shadows because I like how the highlights look, but now the shadows don't match the highlights. Yep. It's all part of the creative process. Sometimes you make decisions and take them back. That might be too much contrast. I think that's why it doesn't look good. Ugh. Maybe the shadows should be darker around her horns. That's all right. That could be darker. Can we get it as dark as possible without being full black? I think we can. One of the most, I think, valuable things I learned in my oil painting class in college is that you don't need black paint. You practically never need black paint. Not when you're mixing colors, not when you're making shadows. You don't need black, ever. There are ways to convey shadow and darkness without straight up using black. And the image will look richer and more voluminous and realistic for it if you correctly apply shadows and mix colors for shadows. Actually, I wonder what I'll work on after this. I love watching that YouTube channel, Drawfee. I really like the challenges they come up with and what they do on the show. Might pull from their book. I've done a couple. I like doing, there's this one challenge they've done that I really like to do where they go on the superhero wiki, or no, the superpower wiki, and then they pull like a random superpower. Or no, they get 2 random superpowers and combine them into a character design. Those are always fun. I've done it a couple of times with my husband, and he always gets like really terrible combinations. He'll get like, what was one he got that was really ridiculous? It was like sand manipulation and computer programming. And he gets others that are like dust and old age combined together. But then I've gotten cool ones like atomic bomb and can fly and can airbend and stuff. And yeah, I've done a lot of those. They're fun. Maybe that's what I'll do for my next stream. I don't have any, like, particular plans. Ooh, that's not enough contrast. Get out of here with that. I keep harping about, like, the contrast for this, but I'm not drawing this for, like, printing purposes. I'm just kind of drawing it just because. Get the line just right. All right. Get dark. That. That's fine. That looks about right. Before I go any further, to color her mouth. It could be tricky. Yeah, I think that can just be subtle. Homegirl got a big ass thumb. Okay. Something. There we go. Save. This looks all wobbly. Probably shouldn't be correcting the line art at this stage in the game, but I don't think it hurts. Oh my god. Very carefully. Still so wobbly, jeez. There we go. All right, I think I'm satisfied with that. Let me see. Yeah, that's much cleaner. I turned the AC off to have better audio quality for the stream, and it's already getting so hot in the apartment. Stupid hot outside today. All right. Moving on. Oh no, that's the same color. Doesn't have to be too dramatic. Not enough contrast. Coming to the end here. Ink. What's next? Do it in pink. Yep. Pretty soon, little cowbell girl will be ready to terrorize the world. I'll be such a proud mama. That's my googly moogly alarm. This will be difficult. Here's the big brain part. Keeping the shadows consistent. No, I don't like that. Okay, I need to fill this with some sort of background color. How about a nice one of these? Yeah. What was that? Just sounded like a damn Sasquatch walked across the ceiling. I'm being so careful. I don't really need to be. Ah. I forgot to color the inside of her boots. Let's do that real quick. There we go. Oops, the whites of her eyes. Ah! It's always so upsetting at first. There we go. Save. Yeah. I think we're just about done. Well, it's been fun. Alright, gotta save one last time. Oh no, I guess I saved enough. Alright, good night everybody. See you on the next stream where I'll be drawing something new. Or maybe I'll be playing GeoGuessr. I've been kind of wanting to do a GeoGuessr stream. That might be something that's up in the cards. But anyways, until next time, good night.